Hey everyone, welcome back to ChaatNChat. My name is Josh.
My name is Miguel.
और हम तमाशा देख रहे हैं ये पार्ट 3 है तो अगर पार्ट 1 या पार्ट 2 मिस हो गया फिर इस वीडियो के नीचे डिस्क्रिप्शन में उसका लिंक मिल सकते हैं और देखकर वापस आइए और अगर ये वीडियो अच्छा लगता है फिर सब्सक्राइब कीजिए, शेयर कीजिए और लाइक बटन पर थप्पड़ मारिए।
बट सर ये जॉब बस यही है मेरे पास और कुछ नहीं है।
योर बिहेवियर इज ऑलवेज A1 हाँ। वो काम ना तेरा एवरेज है लेकिन तब भी तू इतने साल सर्वाइव कर गया है नहीं। ओनली ऑन गुड बिहेवियर। ओ भाई वीक मोमेंट सबका होता है, इवन मेरा भी होता है वीक मोमेंट, पर मैं क्या करता हूं?
क्या 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 क्या?
मैं और एफर्ट करता हूं, मोर फोकस फोकस फोकस।
That's terrible advice. Don't listen to him.
Yeah.
अच्छा हाँ।
Oh, of course he's going to tell you that.
इंप्रूव कर ले। मैं बोलता हूं 5 साल में तू इस कंपनी का वीपी बन जाएगा।
Oh, could.
15 साल में तू मेरे जैसा हो सकता है।
Oh shit!
It is possible, it is possible.
नहीं, ऐसा नहीं हो सकता। कह दो कि ये झूठ है।
Getting filmy.
Now go for it, boy.
Go for it, boy.
सिक्योरिटी पे जल्दी।
क्या कर रहा है?
Oh.
I'm going to hang up the phone for you, dude.
He's like freaking him out.
ये सब जो मैंने किया, ये बहुत गलत किया। तो क्या आप मुझे माफ कर सकते हो?
No. Oh no.
माफ कर सकते हो? प्लीज सर। माफ करते हो या नहीं? Just forgive him.
Just say yes.
सिक्योरिटी, इस आदमी को ऑफिस के बाहर भेज दो। You bloody, तबाह कर दूंगा तुझे। तेरा करियर खत्म, तबाह कर दूंगा तुझे।
Phew. That was really weird.
Faith, buddy, how are you?
Fine.
So good to see you. You're fine, huh? तुम ठीक हो?
Actually नहीं, मैं ठीक नहीं। जॉब से निकाल दिया गया मुझे। तो दिन भर बैठा रहता हूँ। Actually जब से मेरे अपेंडिक्स का ऑपरेशन हुआ है ना, तब से मुझे शक है कि उसे पानी लीक हो रहा है। इधर-उधर फंगस लग रही है सब जगह।
यार
इसने पूछा है, 4 बार पूछा है ना सर?
हाँ पर वो तो सब पूछते हैं यार, how are you?
जब जानना नहीं होता तो पूछते क्यों है? Very funny.
It just becomes such a norm to ask how people are doing. You don't really expect them to say.
Well, and that's why in many cultures, they don't.
He's dangerous. He shouldn't be walking around like this.
Where was this at? What was...
I don't know, some nightclub. You're not going to be able to use your last job as a reference, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a cycle, you know, and then he gets back on the rhythm.
Yeah, well, it is a cycle for him. He's been going through it over and over again as he's being forced to do things that just aren't true to his nature or allowing him to be, you know, himself enough.
क्या बात?
कुछ नहीं, बस अब वो जॉब नहीं कर रहा मैं।
दूसरी जॉब कर रहे हो?
He's still scared like that little boy in front of his dad.
हवा में लटके वो और शक्ल देखो ड्रग एडिक्ट वाली हो गई है और किसी की बात तो
मैं आज ही वापस चला जाता हूँ। यहाँ वही होने वाला है। आप वही कहने वाले कि ड्यूटी क्या होती है और मैं रिस्पॉन्सिबल कब बनूंगा।
क्या यही काम है मेरा कि तुम हमेशा उल्टे रास्ते पर भागते रहो, हमेशा तुम्हें खींचकर वापस लाता रहो?
This is not a healthy life.
तुम्हें क्या लगता है दुश्मन हूँ तुम्हारा?
अरे उसकी जरूरत ही क्या है? मैं हूं ना अपना दुश्मन। मैं तो कर ही रहा हूं खुद को बर्बाद।
और ये बात सच भी हो सकती है।
Oh, jeez.
जिनकी जिंदगी में प्रॉब्लम नहीं होती ना, वो प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट करते हैं। तुमने अभी बुरा वक्त देखा नहीं है ना?
कूल, सुपर। पैक कर लेता हूं। अब क्या करेगा?
Now I get the 3 mirror thing. there's no way he's still around, right? Like he was.
यहाँ एक बूढ़ा आदमी होता था बहुत साल पहले.
Oh, he's still alive?
कहानी सुनाएंगे. पैसे लाया हूँ मैं. आज बहुत पैसे लाया हूँ. लड़की लड़के से कहती है कि तुम वो नहीं हो जो मैंने सोचा था. मैंने तुम्हें आज़ाद पंछी समझा मगर तुम हो लकीर के फकीर. उसे नौकरी से बाहर निकाल दिया जाता है. वो अकेला हो जाता है. अब इसके आगे क्या होता है?
वो लड़का शहर छोड़कर चला जाता है. जंगलों में जानवरों के बीच में रहता है. पेड़ों से बातें करता है. हंसता है. लैला.
ये मजनू की कहानी नहीं है. हा? ये वेद की कहानी है.
कौन? सारे मिलकर पकड़ लेते हैं उसे और जिंदा दीवार में चुनवा देते हैं.
बात सुनिए.
लड़ाई कहते हैं इसको. विलायत की सबसे ऊंची मीनार के ऊपर से नीचे फेंक दो ताकि ये हीर को अपनी.
Whoa, that just went off a cliff.
मैं क्या पूछ रहा हूँ और आप क्या बता रहे हैं?
अरे क्या पूछ रहा है?
मैं अपनी कहानी पूछ रहा हूँ. मेरी कहानी.
तू है कौन? चले जाएगा यहाँ से. नहीं है यहाँ कोई संजीवनी बूटी या कोई नूर या खुदा.
शांत.
डर लगता है? अपनी कहानी मुझसे पूछ रहा है? कहा यार किससे डरता है कौन यहाँ?
अपने से.
तू बता क्या होता है आगे. बता. बोल अपनी कहानी. क्या है तेरे दिल के अंदर?
Maybe that's the first time anyone's asked him what he
Maybe.
wants to do.
बाहर निकल. बाहर निकल. फोन करो उसको. पुलिस को बुलाओ. फोन करो.
He really did a number on that guy. But there was some really good advice. Like, it was basically saying, like, what do you want? Go do what you want to do. Why are you living your life for other people?
Right.
Like, break those walls down. Be who you want to be. Do what you want to do. The world's your oyster.
Yeah.
There you go. It's like trying to force a square peg in a round hole. You know, like it's just gonna be destructive and oh man, that was getting really hard to watch. I like that. And the callback to the Jokers, like his grandpa's big role, Mere Naam Joker. The dawn returns. Yes, we've been waiting for him to come back.
तू तो कह रहा था कि आज जा रहा है.
हाँ तो नहीं गया. बाप का घर है. बहुत पहले की बात है जब हिंदुस्तान का पार्टीशन हुआ था. उस वक्त लाहौर में एक आदमी रहता था. उसका नाम था हीरो. बंटवारे की आग ऐसी फैली कि हीरो को रातों रात अपने घर वालों को लेकर इंडिया आना पड़ा. एक रात में अपना हीरो जीरो हो गया. वो जीरो नहीं हुआ, वो तो हीरो था. अपना बिजनेस शुरू किया और एक अच्छा सा मकान बनाया. अब उसका बेटा आया, नया हीरो. बिजनेस को बढ़ाया, साथ साथ नौकरी भी की, बच्चों को अच्छे से पढ़ाया लिखाया. और फिर उसका बेटा आया. अब ये अपना हीरो है. इसने भी मैनेजमेंट, लगन, इंजीनियरिंग, ऑफिस, सिस्टम. हाँ बोलो, नीचे देखो, खुश हो जाओ.
Robot बन गए.
अपने हीरो को एक साथी मिला. साथी ने कहा, यार तुम ऐसे क्यों बात करते हो? कैसे? ऐसे मशीन वाली आवाज में. अरे रुको, जा कर रहे हो? मैं रेस में भाग रहा हूँ. ओके, तो कौन सी रेस है? मैं नहीं जानता, क्योंकि सब भाग रहे हैं इसलिए मैं भी भाग रहा हूँ.
Oh man, the beginning makes so much more sense now.
फर्स्ट तो आते हो ना रेस में? नो. सेकंड? नो. अबे फोर्थ, फिफ्थ, सिक्स, सेवन,
9th.
You seem to have dialed a wrong number.
Oh.
बीच वाले हो तुम. हाँ मैं मीडियोकर हूँ, आम आदमी, रेगुलर, ऑर्डिनरी. बड़ा प्राउड फील कर रहे हो यार. तुम्हें खुद नहीं लगता कि तुम कुछ हो, मतलब स्पेशल हो? कभी किसी ने नहीं कहा तुम्हें? हाँ एक था जो कहता था कि मैं स्पेशल हूँ.
अरे एक सांप था वो.
I love this.
बचपन, मेरा बचपन.
बचपन?
हाँ, बहुत ही जहरीला सांप रहल बचपन। ऐसे ही मिल जात रहा बाग बगीचन में फूल पत्तियन की आड़।
हम तो बड़े होते ही मार डाले उसको। अब कोई नहीं कहता कि मैं स्पेशल हूं। अब मैं आराम से अपनी जिंदगी जी सकता हूं। स्माइल प्लीज, ऑर्डिनरी, मीडियोकर। अरे क्या बकवास है यार, तुम गलती कर रहे हो।
Dad is really into this.
और इस तरह अपना हीरो जिंदगी भर इसी रेस में भागता रहा और एक दिन मर गया।
क्यों?
वो क्या होता है? तो कैसी लगी कहानी?
We need a different ending.
एंडिंग सही नहीं है। कोई बात नहीं, अपनी कहानी है, एंडिंग चेंज कर लेंगे।
He's the storyteller. He gets to decide.
ये आखिरी वाला हीरो बेस्ट है। ये मेरा फेवरेट है।
अच्छा अच्छा, ये लपट-झपटी करते रहोगे, ये नई एंडिंग सुनाए। ये क्या होता है?
Go back and get that girl.
आपके दिल में जो भी होगा ना, सब पूरा करेगी ये अंगूठी। देख लेना।
Japan.
Looking forward to the second part of your speech.
Her world is pretty black and white.
Dawn returns.
She's like, wait,
Oh
what
my God, am I
hell?
having a moment?
Stay cool. Be normal. सबकी नजरें इस वक्त हमारे ऊपर है। Keep walking. Oh, by the way, Dawn. Two.
Dawn 2.
और आप?
मैं माता हाली।
तो मैं आपको माता कहूँ या?
इससे पहले मैं चाइना में थी, ट्रेनिंग पर।
I see. कैसी ट्रेनिंग?
चाइनीज टॉर्चर।
Oh boy. He's like, okay, bye.
Bye.
Oh, whoa.
Just missed that projector.
Oh, you know this, the thing though, what I think this is like his inner, like through all those situations, this is what he was like suppressing, the things that he wanted to release, but didn't.
Yeah.
And it was all bottled up.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a play I want to go see.
Presenting the storyteller, Ved Vardhan Sari.
Wow. That's really good. Yeah, but why wasn't she on this stage? She played the part of the clown, right?
I don't think she played the part of the clown.
She's wearing the clown pants.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
Then why? Yeah. Why isn't she on the stage? She should be up there with everybody else. They're doing their own thing, just
rocking out to their own music, but still together.
Yeah.
मुझे यकीन हो गया है
क्या?
कि तेजा का सोना तेरे पास है। दरअसल तो फिर
Ding down, ding dong. All right. Woohoo! Well, wow. it's a huge theme, I think, of people in mental illness, or when something is happening for them and people unwilling to see that, hey, people are, someone's having problems. And I mean, we have the issue here in the US where lots of young people are in high school and so forth are having real emotional and mental crisis going on, and no one wants to help them really. And he was going through a tough time where he was getting pushed down, and there was nowhere where he could turn to get release or even guidance. And so he ended up in a worse state than ever before. And then I love this theme, this bigger theme of being your authentic self and finding your own way in life, and not necessarily having to constrain to all of the other things that, culture and people say that you have to be. So I love the fact that she saw him for who he was, and she fell in love with who he was, not, the robot. Although she kind of was willing to accept the robot and she kind of did, and helped him break his heart, And I love the play and the intertwining of all of this. That was very, very good. I like that a lot. Very artistic.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways symbolic and very layered, with lots of visuals and symbols and so forth going through it all. So yeah, I really liked it. It's very good.
Yeah, from the start, how it started, I knew that you were going to like it because you really like artsy movies.
I like things that are a little bit more complex, not necessarily straightforward.
This one was certainly complex.
Yeah, and I was kind of got where things were going a little bit, but I was like, I couldn't really guess it too much. So that's good. It keeps me entertained and at the same time intrigued with what's going to happen next. And I got to say, him telling his dad the story, I think was pretty powerful. That was pretty powerful. Break his dad down and break it down in a way that Dad could understand. Because I think also culturally we sometimes will give people some leeway. Let me tell you a story, or let me give you an example, or let me give you an experience. People will give you some leeway, and then suddenly it's like, oh, wait a minute. Well, this is more than just the story. And I think that was really, really nicely done. I'm going to give this a 9. I really did like this. This was really good.
Yeah, it was so layered, so complex, so deep. The characters were so original. I loved his character. It got really dark. Mm-hmm. It started super colorful and happy, and it was like, okay, this is kind of a cool dude. He's on vacation, and he's kind of whimsical and fine. And later, you get so confused. You're like, dude, why? Just be who you were. You were fine. And then he starts cracking apart, and things started seeping from the seams, and she's like, I love the whole robot thing too, because once they started intercutting, like as he was going crazy, they started intercutting those robot things, which started reconnecting it to the start. And then I was like, yeah, because like a robot, if the circuits are like getting crossed and like all that sort of stuff, they start like glitching out, right? And that's exactly what he was doing. Like his brain was kind of glitching out because he was like being forced to do something that was against his programming.
His intrinsic programming.
Yeah, he was born, and he was this way. He was so creative and all of this, and then being forced to do something that is against his nature, who he is as a human, as a creative being, and so. It was starting to crack apart and blow up, and then the robot was just like didn't know how to function like that. And then also in the very beginning, how did it start? He was on a treadmill, and when she started talking about this in his story, talking about this race, he's not going anywhere. He's racing, but not going anywhere because he was on a treadmill.
Yeah.
So I was just like, wow, that is really amazing. And I'm like, the whole part about him going to this place, because for him, he's like, oh my gosh, she doesn't know anything about me. This is my chance that I could be with somebody that doesn't have expectations of who I am, who I have to be, what kind of race I'm racing, and I can just be whatever I want. I think that was just such an interesting way. Like, the way this story was put together, I just think was so good, how it wasn't so linear. And I know linear stories are typically a lot easier for the general audience to follow, but for me, I like stories that have this sort of almost non-linear, because it started at the very end. So with his play and his theatrical like opening, and it was like, okay, here's his play. And then I just thought that was like some weird, like, kind of artsy sort of like off to the side, but then we find out that was like him in the future being a showman. And that's exactly who he is, and he always had that. And again, at the very end, when things started, like when he showed as a kid and running through class and then through all these things, that's who he is, what he wanted to do, but he was so closed up. That is not what he did, but it's what he would have done if there weren't any expectations. Because he's a free soul, free spirit, running around, acting crazy like the class joker, and becoming a showman with the spotlight and entertaining people. And that's who he was. So, oh man, and it was so powerful.
They made that in the little kid element. You just reminded me of something. The snake as a childhood. That is so true. We let kids do so many wacky things when they're, it's like,
a kid.
Yeah,
He's
it's
a kid.
a kid.
He'll grow up.
Oh, he wants, what does he want on top of his ice cream? Pickles? Well, okay, you let kids do whatever they want to do. And you let them be just as crazy and wild as they want. They're always willing to pretend. They've got great imagination. Nothing is out of the realm for them and everything. And then, as you said, at a certain point, I took that snake and just squashed its neck. Okay? And that's what happens as we grow up, and a lot of us lose that part of us and that authentic child life and energy level and that spirit, and nowadays, you hear it. People say, oh, your inner child. Well, we still all have that inner child, and we need to let it out a little bit. And, a lot of times people who are very authentic, they let their little kid play a lot, even as a grown adult. And so I thought that was a really interesting thing because he told that in the story to his dad. And that, I think, made his dad suddenly realize at a certain point, you and everything else going on was having me kill that child.
So I took it a little bit different than you did. I saw the snake not as like, oh yeah, we just let them go wild, but I saw it as something that we are scared of and that we don't want in our home, right? And then so comparing that and calling the snake's name Bachpan, like your childhood, and trying to crush it and get rid of it, and something that is seen as so suspicious and dangerous, and then wanting to kill it and get rid of it when, really our childhood and our dreams, and like, because kids, you ask a kid, what do you want to be when you grow up? You'll hear things like astronauts and like space ranger or something, like, I don't know, but
Firewalker.
the thing is, the imagination in the sky's the limit. And something happens along the way, which in his case, it was like his parents' pressure, his dad saying like, look, your grandfather during partition, he did all this so that you could succeed in life, and this is what you have to do, or else you're not respecting your grandfather and everything he went through. But he went through all of that so that you have this freedom to be who you want to be. I mean, like, all the heartache that you go through for your children and all that is to make sure that they have these freedom and this choices, that they can be who they want to be. And I think if his grandfather was around, I mean, maybe he'd be proud of him. And his dad was getting absorbed in this story, and he's like, yeah, actually, like, you're right. Like, and he's a storyteller, like a presenter, and and this reminded me of The Three Idiots, because Maddie's character, he was a photographer, and his dad kept trying to force him to be an engineer, and it was almost the same sort of scene. His dad realized the art. Like when his dad saw the art form, he was like, oh my gosh. And when he bought Maddie's character, I forgot his name, bought him a laptop, right? Or yeah, it was a laptop.
That was a laptop, yeah.
And oh, I got so emotional. And this was the same thing. As soon as his dad stood up and gave him a hug, I almost lost it. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And it's just because when you see someone being authentic and their true self, which she saw when they were in France, that is who you can fall in love with. And that is a beautiful thing to see when people are them true selves.
Right.
So when his dad finally saw his son being his true self and really being into it, not this nervous wreck, I think it really showed, and his dad came around.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was a really, really, really good story. Not for everyone. It is artsy.
Yeah.
It's not a linear storytelling. There's a lot of symbolism. You could really dig deep into it. You could probably write an essay on things. I'd like to, I mean, this is one of those things. Again, you could watch scene by scene and then take notes as you're watching it, because as I was, this is, everything I'm saying now is what I can remember while watching it.
Exactly.
But while I was watching it, I'm like, oh, this is like this and then that and this. But one of the biggest things is that robot, and then them taking like the plates off, and then that there's a human underneath.
Yep.
It was really good.
Very symbolic, very, yeah.
So I'm going to give 9.5.
9.5.
I haven't given in like a point rating, but 9.5.
You can't have a half.
I'm doing a half. I'm doing it. I don't care.
Okay.
Say what you want. I'm doing a half.
Okay.
Because I think it's better than a 9, and but 10, I don't know. I kind of want to rate 10, but maybe 10.
10 means it has to be flawless. There were a few little quirky little things that I was like, but I give it a super 9. It's right there for me. I
loved the triple mirror, showing, because what it was is not like 3 personalities. What to me it was is that he had this person in the center, but on each side, when he was looking in the mirror, on each side he had that person kind of like telling him, like, stay in your box.
Right.
And then forcing him to stay inside.
The whole thing of the mirror is the inner dialogue, basically, of what's going on. And I think that they just made that in a physical form as opposed to having some sort of other way of where they had the dialogues going on, where he was verbalizing inside his head what was going on. So,
I thought so many times that he was going to be that old man, like sitting there, like telling
telling the stories.
Yeah.
I thought that there was only one time where I thought, how's this old man going to come back around? He came back around. Boy, he got really old. Became a little delusional.
But the advice was really good. And then from then on, like, it started getting a little lighter. And I mean, it was like, we started on a really high note of him being all cool and suave. And then it was like, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. And then we hit rock bottom of him like cracking, blowing apart and just coming apart at the seams. And then right after that, the guy was like, dude, quit being a coward. Like, ask yourself, what do you want to do, man? Right. It's your story. You're the storyteller.
There was interesting things along the way. Like, I love the rickshaw driver, saying, what he had aspired, but he too got, into his own robot suit. And
as he said, what was expected of him. He's like, well, then my parents saw it fit to get me a wife, and then my wife had expectations, and then I had the kids, and then they had expectations,
and then the business, the rickshaw, So it all becomes, another piece of the robot armor, so to speak.
What people expect of you.
Yeah.
And the thing is I know this is a really big thing, not so much in our culture anymore, but in India, there's so much pressure to be like who your parents and stuff want you to be. And it's really hard. I mean, the people that have the families that are open to them exploring their interests are, I think, very lucky in that. Whereas a lot of people have families where they're like, no, I don't care what you want to do. This is what you're going to do. And, so.
Yeah.
But this is, this was a beautiful movie. I really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it. And I think all the actors that were in this killed it.
Yeah.
So
it's very good.
All right. Well, thank you so much for the recommendations. Yeah. And let us know in the comments, what did you think? Did you catch some symbols here and there? Because I love those sort of things. I love when they're not so on the nose, but kind of you have to dig a little bit. I think that is a really cool thing to have in movies, and it increases the rewatchability.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
Let us know what your ratings are, and if you haven't yet, and you like these videos and you want to see more videos like these, then turn on the bell notification. And
we don't want to make you a robot, but turn on the bell notification.
Yeah.
Share with your friends.
Subscribe, share और like बटन पर थप्पड़ मारिए.